Good morning, everyone. How are you all this morning? This is February 4th, and we are 5 weeks into our 2024 Challenge Yourself. And I've kept my old one here just so I can show you a little uh, a little look back on how well we did. So hang on. So, welcome back to a familiar site. It's Sunday morning, and I wanted to take a step back here. I don't want to do this every week where we're going over the recycling because I think most of you who have watched have gotten into some routine of what you can put in your garden and back in your garden versus putting it out for your weekly trash or down your garbage disposal. So, just to briefly go through this, we're 5 weeks into the year, and January slipped by us again, hasn't it? But all the different things that I'm recycling. Last year, I challenged myself to 1,000 pounds, and I went way over that. This year, I'm challenging myself to 2,000 pounds, and it hasn't been quite as easy. But January is kind of a not really a productive month. So I'll just go over a few things with you. Any of your paper goods, carbon is just a wonderful thing to add to your either to your hot compost, your cold compost, your worm bin, your vermicompost. Even if you don't have any of this and you just have a huge pot, you can add a lot of this to the base and, plant your plants on top. It will break down. And in that carbon is also things like any of your egg cartons that come along if they are that cardboard. I happen to have gotten something for Christmas, and it had this as packing. I thought that was just wonderful. I've also had a cold for 4 weeks. Don't be grossed out, but I've had a cold for 4 weeks, and this is tissues. They will they will quickly break down. I also had some. Wanted to show you just the things that I was just hand ripping apart in case you didn't have a shredder. I mean, most people have shredders, but if you don't, you can still rip things apart. Collect your leaves. They're always a wonderful source of carbon if you're building excuse me, if you're making a compost pile or if you're feeding your worms. I personally have one large Drake elm tree out there, and so my leaves are small. They really are tiny little leaves, and that actually looks like the oak from a little further to a neighbor's. But I got a wonderful surprise, and I have to laugh because a normal person, if you came in and said, someone left a, excuse me, I'm still getting over this cold. Someone left you a surprise on the porch, and you went out and you found a bag of wood chips, you would say, who the heck left that? Well, as a gardener and as a vermiculturalist, a worm mother, I realized that it was my neighbor Brian. He didn't have, his grass isn't growing in January, but he has that wonderful chipper, leaf chipper, wood chipper that I showed you in a past video. If you want to scale back a few weeks, you'll see the chipper that he bought. And I mean, he was taking down a crepe myrtle tree, or actually just trimming the branches. And what wonderful castings this will make, or just mulch. Last year he brought about 135 pounds. Was in 3 really large trash bags, and I took Juicy Fruit Island, covered it in cardboard, and laid that 135 pounds right on top of it, just spread it right on top of the cardboard. And wow, that really helped us with weeding. And so I'm hoping that I'm hoping he brings me this again. This was only 18 pounds. This is just one small. I had 2 more big ones. So 2 more big trays like this. So 18 pounds was like half of one garbage bag. Anyway, that was kind of all the carbon I could think of. One other gift. This was like a gift left on my porch, and my neighbors, they have their groceries delivered, and so their egg cartons are a paper cardboard and paper product. But anyway, the other little, as we say, gift was Rick came home and he said, "Look, Publix is starting to use cardboard on their regular eggs," which is just wonderful because it was always that pink and yellow styrofoam. And, styrofoam can be recycled, but often it finds its way just into the trash. So also, I saved my eggshells. You can see that they grind up very, very well. If you don't have a grinder, you can use a mortar and pestle if you have the time to do that. That's just a wonderful thing to do. I also saved my coffee grounds, and some people say coffee grinds, and also my tea bags. Now I'm doing an experiment in Little Wally on tea bags, and I won't go over the whole thing. You can look and see for yourself. And the experiment is do all tea bags, the paper here, actually break down in your vermicompost or in your recycling, your compost outside. The English and Irish breakfast teas, I do not believe they do. I did this once before in one of my bins, and I got like little cellophane. I wasn't doing the experiment close enough, and I had put the bags in, and then it seemed like I was pulling out these little pieces of cellophane, and I thought, could it be? So this time I'm actually doing it as a truly observing, marking where they are. These ones that are from the butter, excuse me, the buttermint tea do break down, but I think the ones from the English and Irish tea do not. And that just happens to be Twining tea. So, other companies, other things. This was my corn water. I had a can of corn the other night, and I drained the can first and used the liquids. I put this in my sprinkling can, and I add it to my plants. It adds sugars to my soil. So even though we don't weigh that, it's just a thing just a good little tip. This is fruit. Obviously, broccoli, we skin our broccoli stems, and bananas, just lovely, and some onion. That's not really true when you hear that worms won't eat onions. They really will. I suppose if I gave them, 10 pounds of onions, it might harm them. But if you have any of your tops or bottoms, save them. Bananas, of course, are a wonderful source of potassium, whether you give it to them this way, whether you pulverize your fruit after you've dehydrated it, and you come up with a powder, you can add that to it. Or if you take this and soak it in in water for a day or two, the potassium will leach out into your water, and then you can add that water to your pots or to your soil. We like avocados, and I've done it in many different ways. I've saved the avocado shells, and then I've filled them with mushy fruits and vegetables, and I've given it to the worms that way. And the worms will just come in here and just they'll take it over. And our friend Patrick over at Vermont Compost Learn by Doing always calls them an avocado. Isn't he a clever fellow? Anyway, I saved some of them because I wanted to see how they actually dried. I usually keep it in the freezer. But another tip, and I did a video on this quite a while back, is the avocado seed. Beautiful little thing, isn't it? And how interesting that every single one of these seeds came from an avocado that was the same size. And when you opened it up, the seeds were different sizes. Almost, these are four are about the same size, but this is a little guy. He didn't shrink. He was really, that little to begin with. But anyway, if you take this and you chop it into about 8 pieces, that's the way I do mine, and boil some water, and then put your seeds in the water. I usually make like 2 cups and use 2 seeds. That's just me, because I usually wait till I have 2 seeds to make the tea, and then strain it. I mean, you can let it steep for 4 or 5 minutes, and then strain it. And if you want to add a sweetener, add a sweetener. It's high in the vitamin B's, and I believe it also has some vitamin E also in it, and all the other little things that are good for you. It's a very nutritious tea. You could also do that and then use those liquids in your soups. That would add nutrition to your soups. So, as you get older, you absorb less in your body, so you keep adding more and more and more to it. Over here on this side, we've got crackers and breads and cereals and, whatever else you can add to it. Do these things and save where you can so that you can spend where you want. So hang on. Good morning again. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Hello, everyone. I'm back. I'm still getting over this cold. It's been 4 weeks, and it's that tail end of it. Where you feel fine, and then all of a sudden, 5 minutes of speaking, and you're kind of going, wait, let me get something to drink. Mmm. It's Starbucks coffee this morning. I have been drinking that mushroom coffee dose, and I did Rise for a couple months, and that was pretty good. These are a mushroom-based coffee, and they're supposed to kind of lessen the amount of caffeine that you use. And I do that for the first cup. I only have maybe 2 cups of coffee, maybe 3, and so I figure I'm cutting it back by 30% maybe, and also getting some mushroom, all the benefits of mushroom in me. Anyway, you guys have been through this many times before, and we're doing a challenge me more in 24, and so January is kind of a quiet month here. We don't have, we're not really cutting grass, so there's not that heavy bulk. We did trim our trees, and we did get some of the, we used Brian's chipper, leaf branch chipper, and God, I can't remember how many pounds it was. 32 pounds. I see. Oh, we did get quite a bit. Anyway, we've gone through 5 weeks, and my total for the 5 weeks was I don't have it with me, but it was something like 124 pounds, 9 ounces, something along those lines. So I'm coming up with about 25 pounds a week. And to do 2,000 pounds, I'd have to do 40 pounds a week. But again, I'm in this quiet time, and hopefully, May through September will be the weeks that I'm getting the 60 pounds, and it'll balance out. All good, all good. I think that was probably it. Yep, I think I gave you everything you need to know. And I hope everybody has a great week. I hope you remember that this is February now, and Valentine's Day is going to be Wednesday, a week and a half. So not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday, the following Wednesday. I'll leave you with the idea that I hope everyone has a great day. I hope you remember the ones you love, and because it can be a cold world out there if you don't have somebody to say, "Could you give me a hug?" And with that, I will give you a hug and say, "Come back and see me again next week." I really appreciate you guys doing what you do, coming back to see me and watching my videos, and allowing me to share uh, the bits of knowledge that I have with you. So have a great day. Remember, garden what you've got. See you next week. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.